Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP. And yeah, I just came out of some weird, depression, meltdown, low mood of weird origin. Well, it was basically like me recovering from my best friend's birthday party that took a lot of my energy, and the move, which is taking a lot of energy as well. I'm going to take a break from all the moving stuff. My move is in a few days, but I just decide to do like one thing every day, and then it will be a cramming situation at the end anyway, whatever I do. So yeah, I might as well make use of like the time that I have now. I don't know why I was so depressed, but now I had a good day today. And one of the best things that happened today was that I went to the lunchroom at work and people were talking about, so there's that autistic doctor, the hire doctor, doctor for hire, that was sitting there with a junior doctor, and they were talking about Bufo and Corvus, and I was like, what? In what world are they talking about ravens and bufos, and toads? And I don't know why they were talking about this, but they were talking about like the Latin names for different animals. And so they were talking about owls and toads and frogs and ravens. And I was like, how did I end up like coming into the room right when they were making a sentence about Bufo and ravens? Like, I don't know. Small things like that make me happy. I don't know what the coincidence of the world is, but anyway, that's a good segue for the book that I'm reading right now, and it's called The Universe in Your Hand, A Journey Through Space, Time and Beyond by Christophe Galfard. And he was a student of Stephen Hawking, PhD in theoretical physics at Cambridge University. And like the blurb says, imagine if Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy were a real practical book about the mysteries of the universe. And here's a quote. What you witnessed was the end of our world, not a speculative end, not a far-fetched fantasy of a supposedly Mayan origin. The real one that has been known would happen since sometime before you were born, 5 billion years before what you just saw. And well, I'm 150 pages in, there are like 400 pages. And it's really good because it's about physics, right? It's about astronomy, but I'm not a person who loves physics. Unfortunately, for all my viewers out there who work with physics, I just get very confused very quickly as soon as formulas start getting thrown around. But in this book, the author promises that there will only be one formula in this book, and the formula is E equals MC2. There is no other formula in this book, or at least not in the first 150 pages. He does mention other theories and other, but he doesn't use the formula. He talks about the theory of relativity. He talks about the Big Bang Theory. He talks about, well, what sorts of discoveries there are. This book is from 2015, so it is old in terms of scientific discovery. But, I mean, for a layman like me, it's, it feels like the most up-to-date thing that I will ever read about the universe. Because he also makes it kind of funny where he has, makes you imagine that you're on a desert island, and then makes you imagine that you're on an airplane, and he talks about you it's a second person, and it makes the story about you, kind of. So it's not just like very dry stuff. It's kind of funny, humorous, interesting. I've learned a lot about stuff in here, which kind of reminded me of things that I learned in high school like 15 years ago or something. I did take extra physics and math and biology in high school because I did the science route in the French school at the time. And we did talk about the theory of relativity and how these things work, and how light like changes spectrum as like the light dilates and stuff. It's not the light that dilates, but you know, space. And we talked about all of this stuff, but it was in a boring way and I did not really understand it. Now things are starting to click many, many years later with this book. So it's good for people who have a hard time with understanding numbers and science, if you want to learn about science. So yeah, that was my book review about this book, which I haven't even read half of it yet, but really good book. Now, what else happened today? I had to present my plan for the next year to my boss. And actually, I'm glad that I did not have to do much of that. Basically, it was mostly my boss talking about like things that I could think about for the next year, what courses I should like apply to and that kind of thing, and how it went the past year. I didn't want to say too much. I didn't want to get emotional, so I was just like, he was like, well, how has the past year been? And I was like, good, you know, I don't want to go into that. It was my boss who mentioned that my mental health hasn't been doing too well, and I was like, yeah, but we'll take that when that comes, you know. I'm not going to plan my life according to my mental health at the moment, because I need to, like, I can't know in advance when my mental health is going to crash. I just need to have like a sustainable work situation, and I need to, you know, not put too much pressure on myself to do the things in the right order and at the right speed and stuff. So, and it was very good to have my supervisor next to me, like nodding along or like giving, like, you know, giving extra support and, you know, giving her advice about certain things, because she has a lot of experience with resident doctors, because she has me and she has another resident at the moment, but she's had several others before me. And she herself has done her residency in Sweden. She did do medical school in Poland because that's where she's from, but she had to do a residency in Sweden. So she knows about quite a few things. It worked out pretty well by me not saying too much, and kind of going along and nodding along. But at the end, they were so sweet to me. They were so nice to me, my boss and my supervisor, and I wanted to cry. No, I mean, they were really like, they said, you know, you're always working in, like, behind the scenes, you're doing all of this good work and in quietly, you know, and maybe people don't notice that. Like, that's what they said. And that they wanted to acknowledge the fact that I am doing a good job, that I am doing well as a resident, and that I'm managing quite a bit that many other residents haven't managed to do. And I shouldn't be like putting myself down all the time, because I am doing a good job, even though it's not something that is pointed out too often, or that it's not something that people notice because I'm just doing it quietly. But yeah, so that was very good. And also, my boss said that, kind of funny. He said that he was really grateful that I like stated my opinions at the doctors' meetings, because he said that it's not easy to talk in the doctors group at my workplace, because the doctors group is so chaotic and everybody has such conflicting opinions, that the fact that I'm willing to say something about like what I think as a resident is a nice change, because a lot of the residents, like, they don't want to say anything during those meetings, and I used to be one of those, but now I've started to not care, and I just say what I think, and it's good that residents start saying things, and I think that it's good for us all, to hear each other's opinions. So I'm glad that my boss told me that. I am partially recording this for myself, so that I don't forget the praise that I got, because it's very easy for me to forget. When people give me praise, I'm like, no, I'm being humble, I'm like, I feel like it's too much, and then like I instantly forget the compliments that I get. And then instead I remember all of the bad stuff that people have said about me like several years in the future. So I'm trying to keep this in my brain, and if I can't keep this on my brain, I will keep it in the YouTube box, the computer box. So my supervisor said that, she says that what I'm doing, she said that what I did was incredible, and I was like, what? She was like, she wanted me to know that what I'm doing is incredible, and that I'm working really hard and doing a lot of good work. And she wanted my boss to know too, obviously, because she was saying this in front of my boss as well, and not just in our private conversations. And it was, I don't know, it feels like my insides are burning up because it was too much praise. But I am glad that I'm appreciated, there are people who are willing to listen to me, that I am seen, and that I am doing good. I'm not doing terrible like I sometimes think I am, and even though I sometimes struggle with dealing with things, especially at work, people can see that I'm trying my best, and I'm not like way out of track, So that was very nice, and yeah, I'm really touched, because I think that maybe there aren't a lot of INFP doctors out there, and I think that maybe having an INFP doctor makes people think about things differently at the workplace. I don't know. And we need a diverse world where people, and by diversity I mean all kinds of diversity, right? We need people of all ethnicities, cultures, genders, sexualities, religions, and neurodiversity in all its forms. with autistic people and ADHD people and people who struggle with mental illness and people on whatever type of the MBTI they are. And we can't just build a world that is catered towards the SJs always, you know? We can't always have the same people be in the same kinds of positions all the time. You know, if all nurses were ISFJs and all doctors were, I don't know, insert type here that is not an INFP type, right? Maybe ESTJ, I don't know. Or if all bosses were ENTJs, the world would be a sad place. And, well, it partially already is a sad place because that's how most of the world is structured. But it would be interesting, you know, if there was somebody from another type than what is expected, survive and even thrive in a place that wasn't originally meant for them. And I think that that's what I'm doing. Not to brag, but I'm doing it even though it is difficult. And that's the way to pave the way, because, like, for example, women weren't allowed in medicine for ages. And I remember being at the lecture with a female cardiologist. She was one of the first female cardiologists in Sweden. She was old, but she wasn't like that old. And like she was still practicing medicine. And yeah, the fact that she had to struggle so hard just to be recognized as a doctor at all, you know. Like she would be, people would think that she would go to conferences and people would think that she was there to serve the coffee, you know, that kind of thing. But so certain things are more visible than others. I mean, being an INFP is not something that people know about unless they get to know you more. Even if they don't know what the concept of an INFP is, they might know more about your personality the more they know you. Being female or black or is visible, you know. But even invisible, like discrimination exists, you know, like religion. A lot of religious discrimination is based on, you know, racism, such as like Muslim people often come from another country where their skin is darker. They're discriminated as like upfront, you know. I'm not saying that MBTI discrimination is the same thing as racism. No, absolutely not. But I'm saying that maybe we should aim for more inclusivity in everything, you know, and every kind of difference. Yeah, so now we have more women in medicine, but the specialties that women choose are maybe more towards, you know, being pediatricians rather than being an orthopedic doctor, something like that. But it's not the same as before. There are a lot of jobs that are gendered. But in terms of medicine, I think that there needs to be more diversity in personality types. And if more INFPs could get into medicine, then maybe we'd have a world, maybe we'd have a better healthcare system. Maybe we'd have a world with doctors that would actually listen to their patients, and there would be less bureaucratic stuff around medicine that doesn't serve any purpose. I mean, there would be a lot more holistic path in medicine. Not saying that I would want a world where medical doctors, prescribe homeopathy to cancer patients. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that there might be more soul to medicine if INFPs or NFs in general were more involved and had the opportunities, the working conditions. But somebody has to pave the way. That there needs to be more people of a certain type in order to make it more accessible to people of a certain type. It's the same with women in medicine. The more women there were in medicine, the more the hierarchies and stuff started breaking down, and the more women feel at ease to enter the field of medicine. That's kind of how I think about it anyway. I guess that the same thing could be about physics. The more women physicists there are, the more women there will be, that will feel at ease to enter that field if they are interested in physics. But it's hard if, you've been socialized a certain way your whole life, and then that you will have to face a lot of discrimination, or at least, if not discrimination, at least a lot of awkwardness on your way there, that a person of another gender or another skin color or another neurotype wouldn't feel. So I'm just saying, INFPs who are interested in medicine, would I say that I recommend medicine? No, not in the state that it is now. But if you really, really, really want to do medicine, you will have to work harder than the typical ESTJ. But you are doing a good job, and you do belong there, even though the others won't accept you really for that. Your competence, your passion for the subject, they will make you a good doctor. It's just that at the moment it's not really appreciated, in general about medicine. But if no INFP like you enters medicine, then there won't be as much opportunity for the growth in the field. The world will just keep being ruled by ESTJs if INFPs continue to avoid the field of medicine, So don't avoid it. If you are really passionate about the subject and you really want to help people, please try. But don't go into medicine just because you think that you should. That's what I mean. Anyway. I'm feeling a pretty good mood today, which is really strange compared to yesterday, where I was in the pits of despair. I'm going to try to keep reading my book. I'm going to be moving in a few days, so I don't know if there will probably be one last video in this place, and then my next video might be in a new location across the street, basically, from where I'm living now. So have a good day, everybody.